And we're back again on my Steam library. Next in the line is Jotun. Jotun is a action adventure game based on Norse mythology. You play a female Viking called Thora, and you make your way through the several realms of the Norse mythology realms, based on the Yggdrasil world tree and the realms associated with that. You explore these realms, and in each realm you need to find a rune. Once you've found a rune in each realm, you unlock like a boss fight in a different part of the realm. You start off from one central hub from which you go out to each of the different realms to explore and find the rune, and then unlock the boss fight for that realm. There's not a great deal to this game, to be honest. Some of the realms have, or a lot of them actually, have no combat at all in them. Most of the combat is just the boss fights, and that really is pretty much what it is. It's a collection of altogether like 6 boss fights, really. There's not much else to it, apart from just exploring the realms, and in some of the realms killing just creatures, baddies in the realm. The combat is very basic. It's just a heavy attack and fast attack, and moving your character around, and some extra god powers that you get from uncovering a god rune in each of the realms. You get given a new power. One's like a heal, one's a speed boost, one's an arrow that fires out, homes in on enemies. So you get those as you go about the realms. Helps you win the boss fights at the end. It's a very nice looking game. It's all hand drawn, hand animated, which does give it a very nice look. And it's got a really nice soundtrack. Although the voice acting is in Norwegian, I believe, so it kind of sounds pretty authentic Norse voice acting as well. Obviously with English subtitles, or whatever language you want. But in the end, it really all it boils down to is 6 boss fights, and 6 quite long, quite tedious boss fights as well. I got very frustrated with every one of them, and the last boss fight against, well, I don't want to give it away in case you want to play it, but the last boss fight I didn't complete. I just got too pissed off with it. It was, it was boring me, and it looked like when I got to a certain stage in the boss fight, it looked like it was going to get even worse. So I did kind of just turn it off after that. I thought, well, I've seen enough. This is the last fight, and I've never been a fan of boss fights in any kind of game. I don't think they've ever really been done well, apart from in like MMOs like Warcraft and that, obviously. But in other games, I've always hated boss fights, and this game is basically just 6 boss fights. So if you don't like boss fights, I wouldn't recommend this game. If you do like boss fights, then this would be your poison. But all in all, its asking price is $10.99. I don't think it's worth $10.99. I can't remember how discounted it was when I bought it, but I wouldn't recommend it unless it was discounted by probably at least sort of 75%, because in the end there's very little to it. The only thing that actually drags it out and makes it last like 5 or 6 hours is because the boss fights are pretty tough, and you do have to persevere quite a lot to beat them. So no, in the end I'd say don't bother with this, really. It's not enough game there to it, although it is very nicely presented and very nicely made, but there's just not enough game to actually play. Okay, so that's Jotun.